Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard, streaming live for July 26th. Topic of the show today, I'll turn the 5-minute timer on in like 2 seconds here. Understanding the two foundational aspects of any desired experience. Now, there's two very important reasons why you need to understand the mechanics of this. One of them is so you can more accurately craft what your perfect desires are. And the second one is look at that throat chakra. I really must be needing to talk about this. And the second one is to take experiences, desired experiences that maybe at one time you thought were impossible and discover that maybe they're not. All right, that's the topic for today's show. Turning on the counter now, the timer now in 5 minutes. All right, guys, get comfortable, grab a coffee. I'm going to turn the music back on for a bit, and I'll see you shortly. That was loud. Hold on. How's everyone doing today? Ask the Wizard streaming live for July 26th. Okay, I haven't used this transition for a little bit, so teaching moment. Okay. In every experience, so what's an experience? Well, an experience is what you're having right now. Hold on here. There. An experience is something that you're experiencing right now. And of course, as you guys know, linear time is this wonderful illusion that we've created because experientially, you're living this moment. It's just you're living it created and recreated and recreated and so this present moment continually evolves and changes. And when we have these milestones, that's how we create linear time, which is a topic for another conversation. So in every present moment experience, there's two aspects. And you guys will have seen this with any of the geometrics, the physical, non-physical aspect. So there's the external aspect, which are the specifics. I'll give you an example. Just try to think of one personal one. Isn't that there's so many of them? Old Town in San Diego. Old Town in San Diego is like a little Mexico. And it's this little, it's like a village almost within San Diego that's like Mexico. But you're not in Mexico. But it's like Mexico. And it has all the type of foods and the entertainment and the lifestyle, I guess, if you will, of Mexico. So that's the external aspect of it. And when I was down teaching in Anaheim specifically, or in San Diego, in Anaheim, I would hop on the Amtrak and go down to San Diego, and I would go to Old Town because the train stopped right there. It was just an amazing place. So when I'm sitting there, all the external is like I'm in Mexico, but I'm not in Mexico, right? But it's like that. So as I'm sitting there drinking my coffee or, what's it called? Is it Senior Frogs? There's a restaurant down there. I think it's a local chain, but anyway. They have the best nachos in the world and salsa and the cheese and everything. So there's the external, but then there's the internal. The feeling piece of it. So again, even though I'm not in Mexico, it feels like I am. And looking around at my external circumstances, it feels, right? Feels that internal experience. It feels like I'm in Mexico. So all the sensations internally, all the emotions, again, the feeling of being in Mexico was there, even though I wasn't in Mexico. So that's the first point, is there's two distinct pieces to any experience. There's the external, and then there's the internal. Now, moving on to the second point. Because of that, when you're crafting your desires, there can be, what you really want to focus in on is the feeling of the desire, not so much the external experience. And the Old Town one, I didn't plan on that, but it's a perfect example because I wasn't in Mexico, but it felt exactly like I was. So sometimes, especially if you're wanting to sort of reproduce, you've had an amazing experience of some type and you want to recreate that, right? And do more of it. Well, sometimes what happens is we get stuck on thinking that in order, and here's the thing, in order to create that experience again, we have to create the same or a similar themed external. And in some cases, that's just not possible for whatever reason. But what we're really wanting, what you're really wanting to create, isn't so much the external. It's how it felt. It's the feeling that you're looking for. It's the feeling that even gives you that desire to recreate it. It wasn't the external. The external caused you to feel that feeling. But there are many different types of external experiences that can cause you to feel the same way. And this is the most important piece to this whole thing, is understanding that when you're crafting that desire, what's the feeling? Wayne Dyer, and he's not the only one, but he's one of the teachers I listen to a lot. There was an audio program he had called Manifesting Your Destiny. And I listened to that over and over and over and over and over again. And one of the things he talked about, he had a little meditation, a manifesting meditation at the end. And one of the things he talked about was focusing on the feeling. And we do the same thing. So in step 2 of the manifesting process, which is living your desired experience on the inside, what I talk about is, yes, you use the visualization and all that stuff, but you're doing that to create the feeling on the inside. And Wayne Dyer said the same thing. He says, focus on the feeling. Once you've kind of initiated that, I call it the yum yum factor, that good feeling, focus on the feeling. You can even just let go of that visualization that you used to create the feeling. Now focus. That must be good because my throat's closing. Focus on the feeling, because the feeling is the vibration. The vibration is what's going to radiate out, and then it's going to reflect back to you. And it might not be the same external particulars, but that's more a preference than anything. Yes, okay, so it would have been really nice to go to Mexico again. Okay, fine. But I had the same experience, even though I wasn't in Mexico. And I think that's the thing to remember. There may be some things in your physical environment, for whatever reason, that maybe, at least now, you're not going to be able to reproduce. But that doesn't mean you can't have those same luscious feelings that you had that were created by this particular external experience. But there are many external experiences that can create the same internal feeling. This is so important, and it's so freeing too, if you ask me, because when we look at the external, we can go, wow, this is where I'm at, and this is where I want to be, this is what I desire, this is what I've got, and there's no way that's going to happen. I don't know, maybe you're right. But that doesn't mean that you can't have those feelings that you had attached with them. And while they are associated with them, they are not intrinsically connected as one. They are two separate things. So what do you want to feel? Not even so much what do you want to see, but what do you want to feel? Think about that next time. Don't get too hung up on the external specifics. When you think of a memory that you would like to recreate, an experience you would like to recreate, what are the feelings? Think about the feelings that you felt, because that's what you're recreating. That's what matters. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Another episode of Ask the Wizard streaming live for July 26th. Simulcast, there's a word, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Strip the audio out and put it on anchor.fm and Spotify. Yeah, Ask the Wizard Coach. It just left me. Ask the Wizard Coach. That's pretty good. Ask the Wizard After Dark, which is usually fairly late, about 1 o'clock, but they're all recorded. Again, profile, Facebook profile, YouTube, on and on and on. All right, guys. I think we're good. See you on the web.
track of space and time.